is October-Edun. I am one of the two assistant to the cultural director of Guyana Cultural Association. I am from Guyana, and luckily for us, we share Caribbean culture. Guyana is the only English-speaking country in South America. Two traditional art forms, dances that I am passionate about are Masquerade and KweKwe. Guyana's Masquerade usually comes out at a few holidays in Guyana, like Christmas, or Masquerade, which is Carnival. If there's any national celebration, you may find Masquerade being present. Masquerade has its roots in the country area mostly, although that is changing. You're seeing a lot of Masquerade bands that are migrating to town, aka Georgetown. Each piece of instrument is responsible for a particular sound. There's a kittle, there's a boom. Those are two drums that are there. There's a triangle that you don't see anymore. There is a penny whistle. Some folks use a flute and get away with that. And then there are images that form the band along with the flunksters. The flunksters are the dancers, and they usually refer to the dancers as flat-foot dancers, flat-foot flunksters. I also found out that Guyana's Masquerade is the only masquerade with a lot of intricate foot movements in this dance form. One of the movements that is there is the feet are doing one thing and the flunkster is actually doing this. The idea there is that the powers that be are up there and the slaves are down here, beckoning them to throw money. Mm-hmm. Because once the money is thrown, the flunksing happens around the money. There is a particular way you pick up the money. That aesthetic quality of picking up the money is gone because now coins are not worth anything in Guyana. So it's mostly the dollar bills, and there was no effort there. Mm-hmm. But back in the day, when coins were relevant, you had to be a technician to really get that stumble. It's called a stumble that leads you into picking up that money. One movement, and you're up again, and you continue flunksing like there's nothing that happened. A lot of emphasis is done with the heel and the toes and the balls of the feet. There are some movements that you just emphasize the torso, or you just emphasize the arms. Another critical piece of Masquerade is that back then, you're not supposed to smile. It's fascinating if you were to find somebody to do it the right way. But I guess because the art form has not been passed down in a systematic way, a lot of nuances of the movements are lost. So we've decided to take Masquerade back to the people because it's a dying art form. In doing Jamboree in December, we had a couple of parades actually through the streets. And that was fascinating because you saw individuals who were saying, yes, that's what Christmas is about. That's what Masquerade is about. You know, I can't tell when last to see this kind of stuff. They really embraced it. KweKwe is really dear to my heart. The KweKwe is a premarital ceremony. The groom-to-be and his family actually come down the street, the village, come through the village, singing songs on the way to the bride-to-be's house. All of this is being done to music, I should say singing. The way we do KweKwe is that we've added drums. The other piece with KweKwe is that there is a question and answer piece. The lead singer, or whomever the person is that raises a song, would sing one thing and then others will just answer. The song there is open the door, let the man come in. Allah, we are one family. The bride-to-be will stay in the venue and will ask some folks to be her family. The groom-to-be and family outside of the venue is creating a ruckus outside. Once we've gotten the two families together, we actually bring them in a big circle. The circle is called a ganga. And the elder in the village will talk to these two young people and tell them what's important about life and how they have to please each other, and whether it's in the kitchen, the bedroom, or otherwise, what they need to do, and then send them off to get married. What we do at Guyana Cultural Association has to do with preserving our culture, propagating our culture, promoting our culture. One of the things that we can agree on is that once individuals leave their homeland, culture is sometimes lost. Not too many people who've been culturally inclined, artistically inclined, when they were home, wherever home is for anyone, come to another country in this situation, come to the United States of America, and their path changes. And what we have done is really look at different forms of art, be it dance, be it music, be it painting, playing an instrument, poetry, and we have looked at how we can not just keep what we've had, but reinvent some of this. We are very much entrenched in preserving our culture. A community is being recreated. You feel as one. It's your culture. It's familiar. If you can't remember, you're being nudged. We have people who come every year who do not miss. We have people who, when they come, they say, this is my highlight for my Labor Day weekend. To offsprings of individuals who've been born in Guyana but don't have the time to pass it on to their children, we fall in there and we're able to assist along the way. I think we lose identity, and that's critical. Forgive my narcissism here. I love my accent. I truly love my accent. And I know there are some people who shy away, they don't want to hear, they don't want people to hear that part of them. But I really do believe that embracing who you are, knowing who you are, not being ashamed of who you are is very critical when you move, when you're talking about your culture. You put on some drums, and all you know is that the folks moving to these drums, they're probably dancers. You can't tell who is from Guyana, who is from Trinidad, who is from until after the fact. We are moving like nobody else can move because of that spirit. We might have some dancers who are trained in traditional African dance forms in the mix, but the way we will do our movements, we could all be doing the same African movements, but the way that we will do that African movement is going to be a tinge different from that other person. And I think that tinge that we have is the rhythm that really comes from inside. It's that rhythm that speaks to our spirit and helps us to transform when we do what we do.